In today's video, we're going to do a bit of a server tour. Now, just to temper everyone's expectations, this is a server that has been around for about a month now, and the average player has played little to no Minecraft before this. Excluding me, of course. I've put way too many hours into this game. So although I'm going to show my builds first, for those of you that got lured in by the thumbnail, I strongly recommend you stay on afterwards, as you're going to get to see a bunch of just pure new Minecraft builds to inspire you. And when I say new, I don't mean it as a bad thing at all. In fact, playing with a bunch of new players has been one of the biggest things for me advancing my own builds. Alright, I think I've been rambling for way too long. Let's get started. Alright, so here we are at Spawn. So Spawn was this big ravine for us. And everyone just started building their houses on the edges here. And there was a lot of these like just big wooden stone bridges all over the place. This was one of the newest additions that I added. But there was just tons of these little stone 1x1 bridges going all over the place. It was kind of hilarious. And that's why I wanted to build like a more official bridge to make it a little bit less of an eyesore. And the idea was down here was going to be a shopping district. Now, the servers kind of stopped after the month, and that's kind of what happens when you just play with a bunch of friends. You know, these things don't last forever. But there's going to be a beautiful shopping district down here, and then I have a shop and a community garden that I'll do a little demo of in a little bit. But yeah, here's the bridge that I wanted to talk about first, and most likely what I'm going to put in the thumbnail. And oh, there's a skeleton in there. I kind of wanted to kind of go into detail on the steps I did to make this bridge, because I actually posted this on Reddit, of all things, and it did really well. And some people wanted a step-by-step, so I figured I'd kind of give my rundown of it. And I actually have some pictures. I wish I had better pictures, but I'll run through that right now, actually. So the first step, and I'm over in my creative server that I made here, was figuring out what I wanted to do with the bridge. And you can kind of see, I laid out the building palette, what things kind of mixed well together. And then I also kind of wanted to play around with what a roof would look like. And I think this is actually the roof that I used in the actual build. And then I decided, okay, so I want a nice little arch and these little towers. And you can see some of this is pretty ugly, but it's just kind of playing around, seeing what works. But the one thing that I did actually keep, and I didn't actually keep anything here besides, I guess, the roof, and was this arch. I just played around with this. I loved this little curve right here. And I knew that is what I wanted to do. And then I also knew that at the end of the arches, I was going to put little towers. I experimented with some bigger ones, but they looked horrible. And that's kind of the fun of creative, is that you just get rid of it. Where in survival, it would take a lot longer. So I knew I wanted to do this. So this was the first step. And then I built what you're going to see on screen right now. So there you go. It's not a great picture, and I wish I took better, but essentially what it is just exactly what I did in creative. I have a couple of arches going out both ways. The one in the center is taller than the ones on the sides, and then we just have little towers down the top. However, given the ravine was so tall, I realized that pretty quickly that this was just like a tall, skinny, ugly bridge. And it needed quite a bit of love to make this an actually epic, more appropriate bridge. So what I did was, after this, I created this. So now you can see that I added just a whole nother layer, a whole nother bridge right underneath, essentially. And that was essentially to fix the problem of these pillars are just so plain and long, and there's just one little bridge on top. It needs to support more, so I added another layer there. You can see it's still like naked. It doesn't have the cool buildings that I have now. So essentially this is what I had, and I was like, okay, this is a good bridge. We just need to add a little bit more detail. So I started looking into like London Bridge and some other bridges that I saw online. And I realized, hey, what if we add like a little town underneath? And essentially that's where we get to what we have today. And there you go. Now you can see this nice little town here. Actually, one of the ideas I had before the server kind of died down is maybe we could have like a little trading market in here. It could connect with what I planned on being the shopping district down here. Or maybe we could have little homes or live in here or something. And then always the final step, if you're any kind of builder like myself, you're gonna add all the bushes and details. I love these vines. I didn't get to play with these back in the day, but they're here now, and so I just added a bunch of vines right under the bridge to kind of give it like this worn down bridge look. So now if we go into any of the bases of any of these towers, you're going to see these little doors. Oh, and I also love this moss. I think I saw some ideas on, oh man, it might have been Pinterest or something, where someone added like a moss to the bottom of their home that was touching the ground to give it like that kind of earthy shape on the bottom, and I just thought that was great. And look at this. Oh, before we go in, I did want to say the one thing that I would still fix on this, if you were to ever kind of be inspired by this bridge, I would definitely make like maybe up to here, make a kind of a thicker pillar, add a little bit more texturing, maybe some spruce on the sides or something. These pillars are still a little thin. I also think that moss that I was just talking about needs to be a little taller. But if we go on up, you're not going to be too excited. Because if we go up here, there's just a ladder that goes to the first floor and the second floor of the bridge. So the first floor, nothing too exciting. You can kind of go into all these towers and you can just cross the bridge. I thought, hey, a lot of shops, a lot of trading here, maybe a villager hall, I don't know. And then this just goes to nothing right now. And then you can climb up and you'll get to the top of the bridge. Just like that. You can kind of look down on all the fun server stuff that happens up here. Oh, and you can see this beautiful castle over here and somebody's starter home. And then this is the starter base, if you can respect that. I love it so much. We'll look at that in a second. But yeah, this is essentially the whole bridge build. Nothing too crazy, honestly, when you break it down like I did. I'll look at it up top from the side here, and you can kind of see all the bushes and all that fun stuff up here. See all the bridges and everything. But look at that. Doesn't that just look beautiful? I love this so much. It's one of my favorite builds I've done in a long time. So yeah, that is essentially the bridge. So we'll take a look at something else now, but there you go. Alright, so we just came down from the bridge. And you can see over here is my first shop that I was hoping to inspire some of the other guys to build shops down here as well. So we come down here, we got my little diagonal spruce bridge. I haven't made a diagonal bridge before, but I saw this was kind of fun. Nothing too crazy though, just a lot of trapdoors and random things. So over here is Bear's Block Shop. I definitely love this a lot as well. This is actually based on another concept art that I found on Pinterest, and I think I still have the image of that concept art. So I'm gonna pop it up here real quick. And as you can see, so here it is, and here's the build again. It's very similar. I wanted to try to come up with a new like building or like a white palette here. So there's bone blocks, there's concrete, sand, and then there's snow. And then I also really wanted to use this wood right here, the birch wood, because I just never build with the birch because I hate that wood. So I really wanted to integrate it with it, so that's what that is. There's this beautiful little flower shop out here that I actually stole from the internet. I don't know who built this, but I stole it. A really cool little swinging bridge that you might have just saw a second ago. A bunch of custom trees. I tried to fence in this little area. If we go this way, you'll see just like a little garden. We'll look some more at our build here. Then there's a back entrance. So the idea is that the top floor is meant to be where I like live, and the bottom is where my store is. So we'll go in there in a second. Bunch of big trees followed by custom trees. And then this is a path that leads to my starter home, and this is like a starter bridge. I definitely would want to add more texturing to this. It's like mostly cobble. Not a lot of detail in that. So, and then here's the side. And I really loved in the concept art, it had this little dangling thing that led to a sign. So I tried to copy that the best I could as Bear's Blocks up there. So you can enter the building either from the side or from the front here. And it was just the idea here that's not fleshed out because once again, everyone kind of quit on me, which is okay. The idea is that there'd be a bunch of blocks in these things. So like if, put a bunch of grass in here and I sold like, multiple for like an emerald or a diamond or whatever our currency would be. So this is mainly it, this whole big building for this. And then I had like a little like employee only storage. So I would put like my bonus blocks or things I might want to sell or store eventually in here. And then up here was meant to be my home. So if I come up here, and this also leads back out here, so I can come up here and go into my little home here. And I have like this little kitchen. I guess this is more of a kitchen. I don't know, a little storage area. And then that goes right into this, I don't know, side room. And then that goes into my cozy little bedroom up here. And I love these chains, these add-ons of these chains, so you can like hold up these shelves and all that fun stuff. And this goes out to the balcony. Yeah, so that's this house. I think I went through that pretty quickly. But I am really proud of this house. I love this house. So let me know what you think of it as well, because I spent a lot of time just enjoying this. Probably could have better colors, better palettes, but I love it nonetheless. So that is the starting shop. So next off, we have my starter base, and that also follows my starter path here behind the shop. So if we go up here, nothing too crazy. I didn't have that many resources at the time, but I love spruce, so lots of strip spruce planks and fences and whatnot to kind of guide you up to the community base. And once again, this was a very functional build because you had to climb up this really jagged, annoying mountain that you'd have to do, so you'd have to keep falling here. There's a nice little fire here in the cherry trees, and you just keep going. There's some pumpkins lighting your way as well, some bees, and wow, you just keep going and going and going. And then at the top here, you will see my starter home. Now, I really wanted to build in this cherry forest, which, if you've never built in a cherry forest, these leaves just get everywhere, and you have chests full of them. And then I also only had spruce at the time, and snow, because there is a snow biome that you can see right here. Literally in my backyard. Not the great place for it, but I created this little starter home. Now, I'm not too excited about it. It's nothing special. Added like a little log pile out here and a little place to rest and store your goods. One of my friends saw that I had railing to strap down the logs here just as a decoration, so he connected this all the way to his base. If that isn't like pure Minecraft right there, I don't know what that is. So nothing too crazy out here. This base is honestly not my greatest work. And it's not even finished inside. So if we walk inside here, it's just a bunch of emptiness. Got the starter area, my little mine down there that I had, and I didn't even add stairway to the second floor. I just didn't bother. So not my greatest base, but it was where I stored my stuff at the beginning. This is just a glorified like chest room when I first got on the server. So let's go down, and we'll go down this path here in a second to my actual base. Alright, it decided to rain, but if you came down those stairs, you'd go down this, and you'd get to my original base down here. Now, the idea here was it was a ravine that I wanted to convert into like a dwarven fortress. Now, I never really added that much detail to anything besides the actual base you'll see here in a second. But you can see that I kind of had the idea of like a bunch of stuff winding down, a bunch of towers going down. I never really even built the block palette. You can see this is just me testing around with things. Doesn't look that great at all. You could see this giant kelp farm because I just wanted a lot of kelp that goes into a dried kelp converter. I even have a villager and iron farm down here that I won't even show. It's just your basic villager and iron farm. But if you go on in here, you get to my favorite base. And you can see that you just have a bunch of little guys and armor stands for whenever I need to go to the nether. I'll just grab some, gold armor or whatever. Whatever I need. That was before I needed netherite and everything. And I wanted to go for kind of like an underground, like mossy, lush biome that you find in the caves these days. I love this moss roof. I think if I were to make it better, I would add these leaves all over and add just a bunch of Pokeboys. It's a little too flat up there right now. But I love it nonetheless. And I have this mighty acacia tree that goes all the way down. I had to work so hard for these sniffers, which I've never farmed before. I hadn't. They're new since I played last. And so I wanted to make them kind of a centerpiece of my build. So you can see I have this glass floor and a bunch of sniffers down there. We got our storage on both sides here. We got our enchanting table and storage ways upstairs. And then my side room that I'm going to show next after this. And then just your moss farms, your bamboo farms, your whatever kind of planting farms you might have. Maybe I need wheat or whatever. Just a lot of random stuff. If I go up, there's not even that much. There's nothing to show you, actually. It just kind of looks nice and cozy. You can kind of see how I went for like a really cozy base down here. And I love this acacia tree too. But if we go to the side, we get to something that I was really proud of. I really wanted to learn redstone because I've, gone like 12 years without really learning it. And so I created this, and this is actually followed just by a tutorial, which I'll link in the description. If I don't, somebody remind me, I'll add it. And I'm gonna get copyrighted for this, but the idea here is that I wanted a hallway that would go to probably a potion maker and random storages. Never really got around to it. The server kind of died down before I could really do it. But if I turn this switch on, you're going to hear some iconic music that will loop forever as long as this switch is down. Now I'm going to flip it down, and flip it back up so it doesn't keep looping. But let's see if you know what this is. Isn't that super cool? And so if you leave this on, it'll just loop indefinitely, and it sounds beautiful. And I was once again really proud of it, so I added like glass so you could see all my hard work down there, which was essentially just following a tutorial for the most part, with a little bit of custom makings too. So yeah, that is this starter, or well, my main base, I should say. You could tell it's really not finished. Once again, server's pretty new, didn't get that much time to play. But it was so much fun to build nonetheless. Alright, so you've just left Bear's Blocks, and you walk across this bridge, and to the right you're going to see this nice little garden area. And you're going to wonder what the heck that is, so you're going to walk over here, and you're going to realize that it is my community garden. So the idea here, and look at that cozy cow over there, is that anyone new that joined the server is going to want, maybe wheat, pumpkins, watermelons, any kind of crop or tree that you can grow. And they would come here to get those starting supplies, essentially, and replant whatever they take. So first off, we have this nice little hedge entrance that I added the little azalea flowers in, which I thought was a lot of fun. And then you come to the entrance of the community garden. And you're just greeted with a bunch of these plant pots, because I wanted as much color as we could get with the community garden, because it's kind of the idea of a whole garden. I love these hanging like little tables here, and the plant pots and these rare flowers. That's so much fun. I tried to add as many bee nests as I could, because I wanted bees to be flying around pollinating everything. So you enter in here, you got your potatoes, your nether wart, your beetroots, your wheats back there, your carrots, there's cocoa beans. I've also not played since mangroves got added, so I added a mangrove tree in here, with a bunch of little branches and a little sign explaining what the tree is, because there's a lot of new players. Added some red benches, and if we go back here, out of the mud and the rooted mud to kind of give it the aesthetic that you're in the swamp. Added a tree back here so that you could grow the cocoa beans. You can, take the cocoa beans that you might want and replant it on your way out. I think that's mainly it for here. This goes just back out. It's a bad man right there. And then you could go, once again, another little garden entrance. And then you get to this nice little cozy, like, kind of waiting area where you can just sit, relax, and, I don't know, enjoy the garden. And then there's another great tree, great add-on, great wood. I'm so excited to use this one day. But it is the pale oak tree. And I love this. And I also love the leaf effects so much. Um, it just adds so much more coziness to this when you just see like these little leaves falling down and everything. So there's the pale oak, some pumpkins growing here if you need pumpkins. Um, and then I wanted also for you to be able to harvest anything that could hang and grow. So you want vines, you harvest them there. You want these glow berries, you could harvest them here. And then there's pale moss as well, that I put up here, and you can like trim this and have more grow some more if you want. And then last but not least, the desert area. So all the cactuses that are so hard to get on our server for some reason, because who knows where the nearest desert is. I've been in every direction. And if you can tell, I don't have an elytra yet because we haven't done the dragon even. That's just how hard it is to get the group together. And so these cactuses I got from a wandering trader, and I just slapped them on down in here. Put some acacia trees in here too that we got from the same guy, and tried to make our own little desert that you can just claim the cactuses you might need to grow for yourself. So yeah, there you go. That is the community garden. Very cozy. It's kind of a combination of tried to make it look pretty while also making it functional as well. So that's always a fun challenge. All right, so I think that ends it for my personal builds. So let's take a look at some other builds while we have the time. It's getting a little dark, but if we go over here, I'm gonna do a complete tour of this house, I think, and then I think I'm gonna do a quick, well, maybe not quick, but like a little montage of all the other homes, to try to get a good idea of everything else that's going on here. But if you walk down this path, this is one of my favorite homes that isn't my own. You get to this guy's house, and look at this. Isn't this beautiful? For someone who's never really built in Minecraft, isn't this like the best thing you've ever seen? So if we walk in, he has his cat. He even has his dog with his little carpet here, Marston. I think he's still working on this area. Doesn't have a huge purpose. It looks like there's a furnace that goes up there, or a chimney. And then he has this beautiful kitchen. And for as long as I've known him, he has played briefly in the past. He always does these little water chute elevators. I don't know if you guys remember, but you throw trash in here and you put lava at the bottom. That was like an old Minecraft video recommendation. Like back in, oh man, like 14 years ago. Everyone was doing that. So he still does that. He's got a nice kitchen. He has great beams also. Like, all these are consistent throughout the entire build. Like, his consistency is off the charts. And then you can see like a nice little village out here, right over there, and he's just got his trees and his beautiful little wood thing. And this goes down to like a garden, and this goes down to his barn. We'll check that out in a second. We'll go upstairs. He's got his enchanting room. Just beautiful. Some additional storage that he's working on. Another trash disposal. And then his bedroom up here. And my favorite part is everything's so well organized. It's just hilarious. And then you get to the map room of the entire server, which isn't that super cool. So here is the shop, the community farm. My starter home is here. My underground base is here. And then the bridge isn't even here yet. Oh, yes it is. Never mind. There's the bridge. He must have updated that recently. So yeah. Oh, and then there's this castle that I'll show briefly. And then the whole server is essentially right here. So I love that so much. If we go down now. Oh, I guess he has a basement as well. Let's take a look at that. Just drop down there. He's got a bunch of really great storage. He uses a lot of barrels, not just chests that I like to use. And everything's all beautifully stored here. And he's got a central storage as well. And none of this actually goes to anything. This is just like a random stuff he has over here. But his whole base here up until this point is just so well finished. I love it so much. So if we go out here now, and hopefully there's no creepers, and we walk down here, we also get to his barn, and you can look at the castle over there. Isn't that great? And look at that barn. My favorite part of the barn is actually if we go on the other side, and go through here. There is like this beautiful path that goes up and down, and then if you go in this upper one, you get to the second layer. And I love that he just used the hill there and kept it. Where I would have probably just flattened out the whole thing and made a base. Where it's so much better if you can keep like the hills and the layers and whatnot to the terrain. So, nothing too crazy in here, but it looks great. It's a barn, you know? And he's got all his llamas and horses and all that fun stuff. And then he just has a bunch of farms out here and way too many cows. And sheep and all that fun stuff. So that's my favorite base. Besides my own, of course. A little prejudice there. But I'm going to just do a quick little, well, I keep saying quick, but a little montage of the rest of the server now, and hopefully you guys can get some inspiration from all these really cool builds. Well, guys, there you have it. That's the server tour. I hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely enjoyed doing all these builds and getting back into playing Minecraft a little bit here. I appreciate so much that you've made it to the end. That means so much. I can't say enough there. But thanks so much for watching once again, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.